message for the world's young people who may be skeptical about gender equality being accomplished by the end of 2030?
Katrina, 2030 is too near in some ways, but also too far for many of us who have been on this journey for many years. In the past years and decades, we have gained a lot of experience and lessons. So when we bring in young people and diverse stakeholders to tackle gender equality, we are building on a foundation that already exists. But what is also important is to change the world and to make a difference in the lives of as many women as possible for change to become unstoppable. So please don't despair. Stay on the path and use all your energy to push forward. I was lucky that at a young age of 12, I was already part of a women's movement, the YWCA, which had young and older women, which was a Christian organization, which means that there was a lot of conservatism in it. It was also in a society in South Africa where there was racial inequality. We had to fight conservative elements within the organization. We also had to fight the conservatism of society in general. At home, for instance, that there were more chores for girls. And I just decided I'm not going to have this. I just started to write up a timetable which made sure that there was division of labor between boys and girls, and we took turns, and we just, as the girls in the house, did not allow a situation where boys thought that they were going to be served. The nice thing about having to address gender inequality these days, be it pay gap and other injustices, is that we have data and numbers don't lie. When you make an argument and you tackle these issues, you must always make sure that you have the facts and data in your fingertips. You must also be able to have anecdotes that illustrates the point that you are making. We need to make sure that digital technology is not the only way to communicate. There are people who still use print media. We also need to use some of the older technologies such as radio. We also need to use engagement, person-to-person engagement with young people so that in their own communities they can pass the message. And emphasizing when we speak to governments and decision makers that technology is not a luxury. It is a basic necessity like water, like sanitation, and the fact that as we have seen, COVID has shown us that those who do not have access to digital infrastructure are going to be left behind. People have a right to identify themselves the way they want to. Gender is not binary, and it is our role as feminists to always be there, not to put anybody down, and to make sure that people know that we accept them for who they are. You must take the stand and call people out for making derogatory remarks about women and girls. You must not laugh at sexist or racist or misogynist jokes, because otherwise you actually give the impression that it is okay to do that. It is also important to listen to women so that you can understand their issues and where they are coming from, because obviously we don't expect you to understand everything that women go through, because you have never really walked in their shoes. But it is actually possible for you to be in solidarity and to have the necessary empathy, so that when you speak on the issue, you are not just speaking for them, but you are a supporter and you are in solidarity.
From your leadership perspective, what more can be done to promote impactful representation of girls and women with disabilities voices in decision-making platforms?
UN Women has a mandate to facilitate the change of laws and policies and set standards that advance gender equality. We need to make sure that countries adopt the right laws for advancing the rights of women and men with disabilities. One of the measures is to ensure that those policies and laws call for representation, that we heed the call from persons leading with disability that says nothing about us without us. We must know that people and young people and old people with disability are not a monolithic group. They are young, they have racial issues, they are migrants, they are highly educated, they have health issues, etc. So we also have to respond in a comprehensive way. And also the types of problems they have are different. So we do need, in some way, tailor-made solution, not a one-size-fits-all. Social media has played a very big role in spreading fake news, hate speech, some of it which is targeted to women. It's important to challenge those ideas in the social media, because there's a lot of people who will see and read such misleading messages and believe them, not unless you and other people take on these ideas and show how destructive they are. Thank you so much for bringing these questions forward, because through your questions, you have been able to answer the questions that many other young people probably are asking themselves.